Hello everyone. I hope I'm audible. Okay. So today we'll be creating a new widget actually. So till the previous video, let me show what we have done. So if you see this emulator, we can see we learned how to make this scrollable, and we also learned how to put it in a grid so that if our screen size changes, it does not affect our content too much, and everything is synced up how it should be. This is what we did. We also did a flip animation, so when you click on any of the books it will just flip and it will give the description where you can press the read more. So this happens for all of the widget, and when you click on the read more it should take you a page where we'll get the PDF reader that will be coming in the future video. So that was it for now. Now we wanted that before the scrollable widget start, in the top there should be one widget that should recommend some books to the user based on their interest. That will be done in the backend, but in the front end we want a widget that should recommend some books with some description in it. So today we'll trying to create that widget and see how we can achieve that. So let me start my VS Code. uh, I hope it's visible. So what I'll do first, let's create what we wanted to do. So we wanted that it should be a widget that should fill the width, and in the screen it should fill like 10% of the screen, and here we can scroll like how we do vertical scroll. We want it to be horizontal scroll, so and we want that it should contain one image. Beside the image there should be a small description or a summary, and there should be an option like same like this, like we can create a read more option there. So what are my thoughts for this is like we'll be taking a new widget called page view. So page view is like a page where we can swipe between pages and all that, and that will be our starting point. So first let me show you how you can work with page view. So page view, as the name goes, it's same like how we have done with list view builder and grid view builder. Page view also has a builder called page view dot builder, and it takes the context and index like the grid view and how we did for grid view and the list view. So it's same for this. So let's keep it this way. And as we know, in the list view also we had one more field called item count. So if you go to item count and we'll put it 10. Now we need to return a widget. For now let's return a widget like return a container, and we can give it a height of say 150. Okay, this is one. Now we wanted to put this in top of the scroll level we have. We want to put it in the top below the app bar. So let's go to our home screen. In the home screen we have that in the body we directly put this, but we don't want to do that. Let's create a column, and in the column the first children will be that recommender widget. So we can do recommender widget and see if it does not throw any error. Okay, it's throwing an error. Horizontal viewport was given. Unbound height. Viewport expands in the cross axis to fill their container and constrain the children to measure extent in the cross axis. So it's saying that we did not give the height for this page view, though we gave in the container, but this page view don't know what should be its height. So in the page recommender we can put this inside a size box and give it a height of 150. So let's go here, give it a height of 1. We'll changing the height. For now let's make it uh, So restart this project and see if it works, or we need some other fix. It has started. Okay, and I think it wanted the width also. So let's give a width of, let's see if this works. Doesn't seem like it will be working even this. Oh, from parts, there's some vertical pivot is given unbound height. Why is this happening? Let's see, horizontal is given a height. Hmm. We're trying out how we can see. Okay, it's not done. Let's create a width here. Okay, let's reload. Still we're getting the same error. Let's figure out something else. So what might be the issue? We're creating a column. Okay, seems like something is working, because you can see here we got a width. Okay, uh, there seem to be some issue. Let's put some color here to know that if it worked. Mm, let's make it random so that okay. So when we give 10 colors, so that we know what's the color. Okay, let's restart. Seems like it started, uh, but we're unable to scroll this. Mm, okay, home screen. This seems fine. Go to main screen. I think as it's running on Windows, this might be a problem. Let's just see what we have in the docs for this. And we can see my Firefox. So load draggable for Windows Emulator Flutter. Hmm, so how do we do that? Hmm, okay, there is something called track scrolling behavior. So we can write something like this. Let's copy this. Okay, and in the material there is something called scrollable. So we'll be using that also. Okay, so we have touch, we have mouse, and okay, let's just restart this and see if it works. Okay, now you can see this. So why this wasn't happening is like as it's running on Windows emulator, so it does not accept our drag and all that, pull and that. So for this we need to make our custom scroll behavior that will extend material scroll behavior, and we need to give the items that is drag devices. So in this way we can give a drag device. There are some more devices, I guess. So if you do pointer devices kind dot, so you can do stylus also for if you have any Samsung devices, you can do stylus, or for the iPad, sorry, you can do for trackpad. And for the unknown, I don't know how this will work, but yes, there is this also. So this is what we're going to do, and in the material we need to pass the scroll behavior for this behavior, so that we can scroll this using our pointer. Okay, so talking of this, we forgot what we are doing. So you can see now here when we scroll, okay, seems like we have reached the end. As you can see, in our recommender widget we are passing the item count is 10, so there will be 10 widgets. So let's go to our first page. So you can see this is a violet color, and if you scroll from left to right, you can see there is green color, and if you go forward, you can keep scrolling, and this will behave like how it is in the vertical way. This will behave in the horizontal way. So this is what we'll be using, and in the below you can see we can scroll the grid view, and this will it will seem like it's entering in this. Or we can do one thing, we can put a small gap between these two. So we can go here and put a sized box, suppose say of height of 10. Now if you save this, so now we have some small distance between this. Or or there is one more widget in Flutter called divider, and you can give a thickness of 2. Now if you save this, thickness, and let's give it as color as colors dot red. Okay, this seems to not be that good. Okay, we can remove this and just put our sized box here instead of creating some line. Give it a height of 10, and this will solve the issue. So our page view will be here, and below our page view this will take some small height and this. So this is our page view where you can scroll and all that, and there are some properties we can use, like we can know which page we are currently in now. Now we have no idea of this. So page view, if you see, there is something called controller. This page controller, you can use this controller to know about some of the data of this page. So we'll be using that. For that we need to declare a controller. So we can do page controller and name it page controller equals. Okay, now we can here we can put our controller. Okay, now we can, in this controller we can have some access to this with this controller. So let's create some function here. Mhm. So let's see what this page controller has access to. So if you do page controller dot, see, you can have access to initial page. What should be an initial page? It can be 5, 10, or that. You can page, you can viewport fraction. Viewport fraction is like showing not showing only one page. You can see here there is only red, but we want, if we wanted to know what was in the right hand side and left hand side, we can show small part of them so that we can know there is something in the right and left. And you can give offset, and we can use some animation and all that. That will do as we move forward. When we'll start making it more beautiful and in the forward, then we'll know about this, how we'll animate, add listener and all that. But for now, let's use our initial page and viewport fraction. For this we don't need to write a function. We can go here. Here we can write initial page should be 0 and viewport fraction should be 0.8. So by default it's 1. 0.8 means it will be 0.2 in the right and left of, if there is anything on the right and left, 0.1 and 0.1 part of it will be for that. You save this now, and if you restart the app, we need to restart because this is not part of build but it's part of a class. So now you can see here there is nothing. The color is not that good. Let me, okay, now if you see, mm, 1 second, let me make this alpha to 255 so that it's always an opaque instead of giving some. Okay, now if you see, uh, you can see the white here because there is nothing on the left hand side, but on the right hand side you can see there is some green because there is an object in the right hand widget in the right hand side, there is green color. So if you scroll you can see that. Now you know in the left hand side there is a blue and in the right hand side there is some orange widget. That's how you, using the viewport fraction, you can know what's below. So it's 8.8 is too much, you can give it 9 or make it 9.5. So let's keep some gap between them. uh, We can put this container, we can give it some padding. So padding, as the name says, it creates some boundaries between this container, so it will have some space between them. So now if I save this, you can see there is some space between this, so it seems to not be good. Okay, 4 seems pretty fine. Now you can see that you can see some parts in the left and right hand side of this, and now you can scroll, and now we know if there is anything on the left and left or right hand side of this. So now if you go to last one, there is blank space. It is not blank space actually, this is the background of this. As our app in the background is white color, so you are seeing white because there is no any other object after this green. But in the left hand side there is some brown, means there is some object, and we can scroll over it. Now if you wanted to know which page we are currently in, we can know that. So for that we can use our listener. This page control has a listenable object, so it wants us to make it final, so we'll be making it final. Page controller, so let's create an init state. Instead what we will do, we'll be listening to the page so that we know the what's the page number it's currently in. So if you go to page controller dot add listener, so what this listener do, you can see it register a closure to be called when the object changes. So when we change our pages, this page controller will have its page number change and all that, and we can listen to that, and based on this we can make some changes. So what we'll do, we'll create here one integer called current page. By default let's make it 0, and here we can do set state. As I said, set state comes with stateful widget, and using this state we can change the current page value. So we'll let current page equals to page controller dot page. So I think the page is of double type. We are making an int so that we know which page we are currently on now, and so, and let's debug print it so that we know what page we are in. Okay, seems like there is something else getting printed, and this is most probably the grid view. 342. Okay, now if you restart this app, let it restart. Okay, there is some flicker. This is because we are calling this set state. If you see this one, set state, so as this is a random, as the color is random, so when we scroll the color start changing. That's the reason you see that flickering. It's not flickering actually, the set state is working, that's why changing the color in randomized wise. Okay, let me show you what's happening. So we're calling this random next change, right? Set state means it's changing the state, so the random value get changed, and this color seems like flickering, but it's not flickering, it's just changing the color. Or else we can do one thing. We can already define this color. So we can take this, and when we start we can get like list of color. So we'll look at colors and we'll do return. So let's define list of colors called colors. The argument type color can be assigned to the parameter type colors. So this is of type color. So now we'll have 10 colors and we'll be passing this as colors. Now in the item count we can do get colors dot length, and in the color we can do get colors of index. So this should fix our issue. So now if you hot restart, okay, we still get that flicker because this will again call this. Okay, sorry for that. And now we can get this directly as calling the function. As you know, this will call the function again and again. So now if you run this, let's save this. Okay, now you see when you scroll we don't have the flickering change because this color item is already created and this won't change. Now you can scroll above them. Now you can see we can see very little of them. This is because we have given our see fraction of 9. Let's make it 9. Now if we restart our app, we can see a little bit more chunk of that color widget. So we can see a little more. I think this is pretty good for now. So now we can know there is blue color on the left and color on the right. So what we have done is we are keeping track of current page. So now you can see the current page it's showing 1. Let's run one more time and see, now it's 2 and now it's 3. If you see, now it's 2, now it's 1, then it's 0. So this is how it works. Like when we scroll we can have the current page, what is the page number we can get from it. So let's see if it can give us the okay, let's keep it this way only. And so what we can do, so if it's a current page, we can increase the size by some height, and if it is not the current page, then we can lower some height. That's one thing we can do. Let's try out that. So we'll write like this is the index, right? So this will give the page that we are currently seeing. So we can write if current page is the index. So let's just see. Mm, current page is equal to index. If current page equal to index, let's make our padding to 8, or else let's keep the padding to 4 itself. So let's see what it happens now. So you can see, okay, seems like nothing much is happening. Hmm, let's restart and see if something helps. So we want that if the current page and the index are same, then we increase the padding. Okay, we haven't changed it here itself. So we want that if the current page and the padding are same, then we increase the padding, or else we decrease the padding. So you can see when we get to the padding, there is slight change in. Okay, that's totally fine. So if it's correct index, so we make it 8, or else actually we make it 4, or else we make it 12. This will give a clear idea of what we are trying to achieve. You can see here, so this is a quite big widget, right? But when we scroll, it was small. The left and right, let's make it 8. I hope the screen is visible. So it's been a blunder. I have been okay. Seems like I did not show you anything that was going on, and the browser is on top of that. Mm, okay, let me take you from the first. So we're putting this in a page view, and we're creating a page controller for this. If you see this, we're getting a page controller. We're giving wave traction of 8. That means 80% of this will be covered by this, and the rest 20% will be covered by if there is anything on the left or right hand side of this. Then in the init state, we're getting the color, so that we know all the colors are different for this, and we are taking a listener for this page controller. So whenever there is any change in this controller, this listener will get triggered and we can trigger some function. For now what we are triggering is like we want to know what is the current page, and we change the current page variable based on this, and we are printing the page. And this is happening in each stage. And in the main function what is happening is like if the current page and the index are same, then make the padding to 4, means make the widget a little bit larger, and if it's not same, make the widget a little bit small or a little bit smaller, so that we know that we are in the current page and it's not the main focus of our page. Now if you see this brownish color, it's a little bit larger than the one you see in the viewport. This pinkish color, it's a little bit larger than this, but when you scroll, you see this got smaller and this got larger. I know there is a small like flick type of thing that's happening. It's not in a good way, the animation is not in a good way, but you get the idea of what we are trying to achieve. So when we scroll, we want that the widget that is currently in focus, that should have a little bit bigger size than the one that we have already scrolled up. As you can see now, so this is happening quite what we wanted it to be. Okay, we'll control the animation and all that in later videos, but let's achieve what we are trying to achieve by now. So what we want, that this should contain the 30% of this should contain an image of the book that will be recommending, and the others should have some description and a button of read more. So let's create that widget. So here after the build, let's create a new widget. We'll make this a we'll be calling this in the form of widget. So let's create a function called recommender widget, and we'll be returning this. So what we want, it should be a container, and we'll be taking the height from here. So we want that it should be of height should be based on this height. The width we will be taking off whatever is there, and in the child we'll be passing, we'll make it row, so the one field, so we'll make it row, and children, so the first children will be the image, so we'll do image. We'll be doing the same network images as we are doing for this. We'll be changing it later on, but for now let's make it this. So we'll put the URL here, and we'll do fit box fit dot fill. Okay, so this will be the image, and in the row there should be one more widget that will be the other one that should contain all the description. For that we'll create one more container, and inside this child we'll put a column, or we can directly put a column without this. We can write a column, and this column will children. So this children, first it will have a text of some description. Let's make it 10 times, and it will also have a text button called read more. Now if you see this container, we can make it sized box. So there is some error somewhere, that's why it's not formatting. Okay, so what are the changes we wanted to do? We want that the image should take only the one third of the box and the other two-third should be part of the description. To do this, we can put it inside expandable. You can wrap it inside a widget called expandable and give it a flex of 1. So it will take 1 by one third, and we'll wrap this column by expanded itself and give it flex of 2. So this will take the two part of the row of the container, and one part will be taken by this network image. So if you go to book cart widget, so we'll be taking the same image that we're taking. So we can do this. Why is there an error? The image is required, but there is no corresponding argument ID. Okay, so we need to make it image. Okay, got that. So now if you save this and make this constant, this should gone, and got this, we can make this constant. This should be gone. Now let's put this recommender widget in place of this. In place of this container, we'll put this recommended widget. So let's see what's the error that's coming. So the argument type widget function double can't be assigned to the parameter type widget. Okay, so we're not passing what should be the height of this container. So as like double, we'll also be taking the height. So we want that this recommender should contain the 10% or 20% of the screen. So we'll make it height dot 20 height and 20% of the screen. So this should be same for the rest one also. Okay, let's see what this does. So now you can see we'll get the book and we'll get, okay, we need to put some background so that we know there's some difference. So in the this is under padding, size box don't have color property, but we can make this using, what do we do? So instead of this size box, we can remove this size box from here itself, and we can call recommender widget inside a container. Inside a container, and we can remove this height also. And inside this container, we can pass our height. And we'll pass a color from colors of index. So that should solve our problem. Now if you run this, there is, okay, now you can see there is some color behind this, so that we know that these are all different. But we can see that this row is not taking up the complete sized box, and there is some space here. You can see below and above this image there is some space, so we don't want that. To avoid that, in the row we're passing expanded, and if you see cross axis alignment is in the start. So if you want to fill that, what we can do is we've taken a container and we wanted to fill it by row. Main axis size is max. Start cross axis is alignment. So let's make it cross axis alignment to cross axis alignment dot start. So this should take us to the top, but still it does not fill this. So expand it. If you create a widget, expand the child run close to the child use available space along the flex main axis. How do we fill this space? One second. Let's give some sized box. Absolute width of 10. Okay. We want this height. So what we can do is, instead of passing the expanded, what happens if we pass this inside a container? We give height of 200. What happens? Let's see if we get an error. What happens if we pass height of 500? Okay, so it's the height that is bothering us. Let's do it 2 by 4, 50%. Okay, the 6 part, this will 2 parts, and the rest 4 parts will be done. Okay, let's make it. Okay, this looks better. So we need to give it some height so that this can be filled, or else we can write it like size box dot expand. This should also have the same flow. Let me reload and see if it does. Yes, it does. And we can make this constant. So what is size box just expand does is, whatever space is there, it will fill up all the spaces. And as we are putting an image inside this, so this will take the image and fill this. So this is how we wanted it to look, but in the description we wanted that it should have some ellipses or faded away option. So here in description we'll put overflow, text overflow dot ellipsis. Okay, it's taking only one line. We can do fade. If you pass max lines, then we can put the ellipsis so that we know. So that if you put here 5 and write here ellipsis, so it will first write up to 5 lines, then it will put that ellipsis. If you see 1 2 3 4 5, then it will put this ellipsis so that you know there is something else. And here the expanded, one post this way. We can put this column inside a padding, offset 2 from each side. 4. Alright, okay, this should be good. So we have a book and we'll put a description, and there is a read more. If you click this, you should be going to the description of this page. So this is how our, okay, so if you see here closely, 5 line is not valid for this, so it's better to go with fade. Okay, so if you put this under expanded, this does not, okay, and what happens if we do text overflow clip ellipsis fade? Okay, this seems better. And what we'll do is like we'll wrap this, expand it into some paddings if you can do that. Okay, seems like we can't do that. Okay, that should be fine. So we have our book, we'll have the description, and there will be a read more. So now if you scroll, whenever we read the page, that page should be a little bit larger. Don't worry if it looks like it's suddenly popping up. We'll add animation to that so that it looks slick, but you get the idea of what we are trying to do. So we want that whenever we are on the page, it should be a little bit larger than what's on the right hand side. And how it should look as we should have a book and the description, and there should be a read more option, like how this one, how this read, there is a read more here, so it should be same as this. So when we click on this, we should be going to the page. Okay, let's directly add that also. So we can do navigator dot of context dot push material page route builder context, and we can go to book description. And for the title, so here we will be passing some book name from here. Let's do in the recommended widget. Let's pass the index that we're currently in so that we know what is the details that we need to be passed. So we'll pass the index. Here we'll be accepting the index. Okay, So now when we click on read more, so this should take us to card 0 and we are in a card 0 description, and we run this. Now we are in a card 1, so this should take us to card 1. This should take us to card 2 and so on. So this is what we wanted to achieve by today. Like, we will be showing our recommended books here, and here they can just go search. Now if you want that they should be able to scroll and this should be gone, we can do that too. But for now let's keep it this way only, that you can see the recommended, and if you scroll you can just scroll and find other books. But if you wanted this should go, then we can put all of them in the same grid view. So in the first uh, items in that list, or we can put this in list view, and the first item in the list will be of this, and when we scroll this should be gone and this should take its place. But for now let's keep it this way, like the recommended stays in the top, and you can just scroll here and see what's there. So this is what we wanted to achieve by this video. I hope you got the idea. I know most of the time the screen was blanked out by a browser, but if you cut out that part, and here I have shown you how we can do all of this. So let's look through once more what we have done. So today we have worked with a page view. So page view take a controller called page controller. Here we can define what's our initial page, what's our viewport fraction and all that. And the initial we have a listener for this page controller, where we can have access to all the data this page controller has access to, like the page. And these are some colors so that we can give it to our widgets. And here we are defining a page view builder, just like list view is a page view. It will define how many pages to be created which can be scrolled. We give the item count, item builder, just like list view builder. And in the widget we are creating a widget. In a row we are passing it expanded by 2 by 3. If there are 5 spaces, 2 will be controlled by these images and 3 will be controlled by this text. So this is the simple widget that we are creating today. Only the difference is that when we are current page is the index page, we are decreasing the padding, and when it's we are increasing the padding. So this is what we wanted to build, and we built it today. In the next video we'll start how we can integrate our PDF reader, as this will be a very big part of our main concept of the app. So we'll be concentrating on that and see how we can integrate. And from the next video we'll try to integrate with our network calls so that we can get the books and all these details. So if you have made it this far, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, we can meet in the next video and we can continue this journey. So by this we both are learning, as I'm learning and you are learning with me too, so we can continue with this. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Okay, bye.